I have 11 pineapples here today. I want to show you how I can pineapple. This video is for the person who either has never canned pineapple or the homemaker who is new to canning and wants to learn how to can pineapple or how to can something pretty simply done in the water bath canner. I don't want you to be intimidated. I want to walk you through step by step of how I'm going to preserve these pineapples that I got at a very good price for the upcoming months and year. Not long ago, I got these, just a few days ago, I got these 11 pineapples at Aldi. I love shopping at Aldi. I can get a lot of great prices, items there at great prices. These pineapples are normally found at other grocery stores. I have seen them in grocery store ads and in other stores around for $4 and $5 a piece lately. Well, I got these for, I believe it was $1.29. I only got 11 because I wanted to save plenty for somebody else, and there were more boxes. So I got these so that I could can them. But before I show you how to do that, I'd like to tell you who I am. I am Miss Katie, and this channel is Heritage Ways. Heritage Ways is where I share cozy homemaking with old-fashioned family values. My passions are cooking and baking and preserving food and filling up that pantry. I love seeing my labeled homemade jars in my pantry. Also, showing hospitality has been something that I have doing alongside my husband as a helpmeet with my husband for over 30 years. And before that, I helped my mother, who was a preacher's wife, show hospitality to hundreds of people in her home. So if those things interest you, those topics interest you, I would ask you, invite you to consider subscribing to this channel for more content like that. Pineapples are so healthy for us. They have vitamin C with as well as other vitamins and minerals, of course. Mr. Patient and I were privileged to visit a pineapple plantation in Hawaii when we were there on our anniversary. For a trip that was gifted to us, not our anniversary, but our honeymoon, back in 1989. And it was so fascinating to just see acres and acres, as far as you could see, of pineapple plants. Mr. Dole, a man named Mr. Dole, back decades ago, went to Hawaii and bought a few acres and started growing pineapple, and now, you know, that's what we know is the Dole pineapple or the other companies, but we know him from that, the Dole company that sells pineapple as well as other fruits. Well, pineapple is especially good for us when we eat it raw, okay? Because when we eat it in the raw state, it's good for our, of course, you're getting those fresh enzymes, those raw good enzymes that are in the fruit and in the juice, more concentrated enzymes. But also if you're having mucus, especially any time of year, colds or drainage, that kind of thing, excuse me, that really helps to break that mucus up in your nose and your throat. So raw pineapple and pineapple juice is so very good. Of course, with the pineapple fruit, you're going to get the fiber, and with the pineapple juice, excuse me, you're going to have more of the concentrated, the raw enzymes there, which it's both good for you. Now, of course, when you're going to water bath it, you're going to kill off some of those enzymes, unfortunately, but the fruit is still good for you. And it is especially good. I've got, I mean, you can eat it out of the jar, but I've got a recipe for the pineapple, vintage pineapple cottage cheese salad that you could try as well. You could have pineapple upside down cake if you wanted to make that dessert. So there's so many ways you can use pineapple. So I'm curious to know how you like pineapple, or if you don't like it at all. And also I'm interested to know if you've ever canned pineapple. The first thing I'm going to do is juice 2 of the pineapples. Now, I canned some pineapple the other day, and I decided you can use, for your liquid, you can use water, you can use a simple syrup, which is a sugar water concentrate, or a mixture, a solution rather, or juice. Now, I decided this time around, because last time I used just plain pure water from my Berkey, but I decided this time I was going to try using pineapple juice. Now, I expect that I will not get a lot of juice from just 2 pineapples. Although they are a juicy fruit, I'm going to need a lot of liquid to pour over these others. So, I stopped by my Amish store a minute ago when I was passing by there, and I picked up 2 jars of pineapple juice. You can just use water to pour on the fruit, which I'll show you all that in a minute, or you can use canned or fresh juice, or a simple simple syrup solution, and you can find those ratios all day long on the internet. It's usually 1 to 2, or it's either depends on how sweet you want it. Like if you get fruit that says on there extra heavy syrup or light syrup, that means light syrup is going to mean it has a less sugar ratio. So it may be a 1 to 1, 1 cup of 1 part water to 1 part sugar. If you see something that has extra heavy syrup, it might be 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 or more than that. And obviously the more sugar you're going to add to your ratio is going to make it syrupy and thicker and sweeter. I'm going to, before I cut these, I'm going to go ahead and wash my jars. These are brand new jars. Got them last year, but they're new out of the box this year. And I told you in another video that I was washing and sterilizing my jars in the dishwasher. I also told you there are several ways to do that, to get your jars ready. Today, I'm not going to use the dishwasher because I don't have other things to put in the dishwasher, and I don't want to wait on the cycle. So I'm just going to wash the jars in hot water, and then I'm going to take them to my oven, put it on the keep warm setting. If your oven doesn't have a keep warm setting, just turn it on the lowest it'll go, usually 170 Fahrenheit, and turn it on. And then what I do is by the time I'm finished washing the jars, I'll just come over here and turn the oven off, put the jars in on their sides because it's just easier for me to pull them out this way, and then shut the door, and your jars are going to stay warm, very warm, hot. So those are some options. And I also told you the other day in another video that you could also put them in this water. So, but today let's just focus on either washing in the dishwasher or keeping them warm in the oven. So for now, I'm preparing 2 pineapples for the juicing, and those pineapple pieces are going to go in here, core and all, because there's still going to be juice in the core. And so I'll prepare those, and then I will prepare the rest of them for canning. So if you'd like to see how I actually prepare the pineapple with peeling it and everything, then stay tuned a little bit towards the end of the video, and I will demonstrate that if you're interested. Okay, well, 2 pineapples in this case made a quart. There's the froth on top, or the foam. But I'm going to taste this. There's about 2 tablespoons in here, and I can't wait. It's going to be fresh and good for me. There is nothing better than fresh fruit and vegetable juice. Do y'all like that? I tell you. Oh, especially if it's cold. This reminds me of when my son Trevor and I went on a mission trip in Panama, the country of Panama, not the city in Florida. Oh, and we sat down and ordered this. It was so delicious. Piña. So delicious. So what I'm going to do is to continue to prepare these piñas for canning. If you'll stay tuned to the end of the video, I will show you how to cut pineapples for juicing and for canning, and I will also give you some tips and some ideas about purchasing canned pineapple at the grocery store. Whew, okay, that is all cut up. I will admit that takes a while to work on that. That might have been close to an hour. I don't know. I didn't time it. This is not, in my opinion, a difficult process. But it is labor intensive. But isn't anything worth doing well and right? And you'll have such a sense of satisfaction when you have all these cans sitting in your larder. Measured this for us to know, and this is roughly 6 cups. So 1 pineapple, and that's going to depend on the size, obviously, but this is roughly 6 cups, maybe a good 5 at least. So I measured that for us so we would know that. All right, I have my rings and I have my lids. I just put them on the back burner just to get them warm. Well, it's not too hot, I can't touch it. Then I have, and these tips are for a beginning canner, I have this magnetic piece that lifts the lids out of the water. Then I have this wonderful tool. I used to use a rubber spatula, but my friend Connie in Kentucky sent this to me, and I love this thing. And it's even got the marks 1 inch down to 1/4 of an inch, because a lot of recipes will say leave X number of head space, and so that's how you can measure that. This is to get the bubbles out. I have a funnel, wide funnel. Then you have your jar lifter. Had this for umpteen years as well. And I have my handy dandy roller table here. It's optional for you. I got this at Home Depot, not sponsored. Here I have my pineapple juice. I'm heating that up. So one important tip is everything needs to be the same temperature. However, this is raw pack or cold pack, however you want to say that. And it is recommended in my favorite, the only canning book I've ever referred to, quite honestly. I tell about that in the potato canning video, but I'll also put a link down below to my favorite canning book. I will also, in that link, Amazon link, have other tools that you can look at. I prefer that you shop local and support your local merchants, but if you cannot for any reason do that, then you can use our link down below and you can grab those things there. So again, you want everything hot. You wouldn't want to put in cold liquid into a hot jar. So the jars are hot, the seals are warm, kind of softens up that rubber ring. Nowadays they say you don't have to do that, but hey, I'm old school. And then my liquid, whichever liquid I'm going to use, those are going to be hot. Now my canner, this is a pressure canner, but you know you can water bath in a pressure canner. Okay, the canner is going to have some sort of a trivet type shelf or something at the bottom, and that is to keep your jars from touching the bottom of your canning or the canner floor. tighten it. You don't want to tighten it as hard as you can, but just what I call just a good tight until it stops. Just turning it until it stops, and then don't go any further. And you'll just pick it up and put it in your canner. Okie doke, I have 9 pints in this tall can, and I've covered them with about 3/4 to an inch of water. The idea is so that they will stay covered with water and they will boil or water bath for the appropriate amount of time, which we'll talk about in a minute. Then I got my other canner. This is my Aunt Coco's All-American. You can see right here, it is her old one. Aunt Coriel, she's my great aunt and has passed away years ago. But I got her canner, and it is a pressure canner, but remember, all you need is a vessel with a lid on it to water bath. They sell the water bath, just the big pots with the lids, and I have one, but I tend to just use these 2 pots because they're always up here during canning season, because you can do either one with these. So I will put a little bit more water on top. I'll put the lids on. Now, again, you're just needing to cover it. You don't have to lock it on. You don't have to do any of that. You're just needing to cover it and let it come to a full, not a full boil, but you want it, because a full boil is just going to spill everywhere. But you want a good heavy simmer, if you will, or a light boil, if you will. And to keep it going for the appropriate amount of time, whatever size jar you are working with. Just adjust your heat. In my case, it's fire because I have a gas stove, which I highly recommend. That flame is just what you see from some residual water coming over here. But I do have that sealed or tightened as if I were going to pressure can, so it's not loosely on there. Anyway, the pints or quarts you want to do for 30 minutes if you raw packed like I did without heating up the pineapple first. If you're going to hot pack, which means you heated up the pineapple and the liquid together, then you want to water bath pints and quarts for 20 minutes. And that is according to my favorite canning book. And also remember to use any other book that you like or directions, but this is what works and has worked for years. And I'm just going to take the lid off and make sure the steam is away from my face. Okay. And if you want to let those sit there for a couple of minutes, you can do that. They're still kind of bubbling a little bit in there. All right, and then I just use my lifter, bring it over here. We'll start hearing them pop here in a minute and seal. You do not touch them for about 24 hours. That was 19 pints that I've done so far, and all that pineapple juice that I had was sufficient for the 19. In fact, that's exact. It took it all, every bit. That's it. Thanks for watching. But if you're interested in how I cut the pineapples and also some other tips and tricks, stay tuned. In the meantime, we'll see you next time here on Heritage Ways. But stay tuned for those extra tips if you're interested. Thanks for watching, and make sure you count your blessings every day. But I'm going to demonstrate how I'm going to prepare these for juicing. And I will go ahead and tell you that it's absolutely fine to keep the tops and try to regrow pineapple. Many people do it. I know you also can save the peelings, and you can make various juices and even vinegar. And another thing, I'm going to have to admit that I'm going to have to throw this away today out into the trash can. I don't put citrus in the compost, but I'm going to put it in the trash can because I really don't have time for that today. Now, I have chopped off the top and the bottom, and I know I was just at the Amish store a minute ago and I saw that pineapple core machine or device, and I thought, I don't want to have that in my drawers as another kitchen tool, you know. Now, mind you, I love kitchen equipment and I love kitchen tools, but things like that and an avocado cutter, I mean, those things, people, are not necessary. I'm telling you, if you have a knife, you can cut a pineapple. If you have a knife and a spoon, you can take care of an avocado. And I think I've got a video from way back when about that too. I'm loving my sharp knife that Mr. Patient sharpened the other day. All right, now to explain what I'm doing, that I'm using my knuckle as a guide like I do many times in cutting. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to get most, I'm not so worried about the brown if I'm going to juice it, so I shouldn't worry about all that. But what I'm going to cut for eating, I won't have so many brown notches. So I'm just cutting, let's see, there we go. I'm getting my knuckle here and I'm using it as a guide. I'm not cutting myself. I'm using it just as a guide, and I'm going down there, and like I said, I don't need to worry about the brown so much, but just get that green off. There we go. Okay, that is going over here. And I'm just going to cut it in half so that it fits in the chute of my juicer. Now I have a Mr. Juice Man. I'm not going to demonstrate how I juice this because the video is not necessarily about juicing. But if you have a juicer and want to do this, you know, obviously you follow the manufacturer's instructions. As you can see in the photos, my juicer, we have used this thing for years. I'm talking, oh wow, probably, you know what, probably 20 something years we've had this same juicer. So do I recommend it? Well, yes, I do. All right, to prepare these for canning, I don't want to include the core. Gonna cut the top and the bottom. When you're choosing pineapples, you want to make sure they are as green as possible, meaning not brown, you know, not brown and dried up, because then they're not gonna have much juice and they've been sitting there way longer than you want them to. They've already had a long trip from the tropical areas. All right, again, I'm just going to peel here. Try to get as much brown off the little pits, if you will. Don't really want to eat those. They're hard anyway. Kind of turning it either clockwise or counterclockwise. That may depend on if you're left or right-handed. A sharp knife is important. Mr. Patient says a dull knife is a dangerous knife. And it does look like you're wasting, and that is a shame, but you don't want to eat those brown pits. So try not to waste as little as possible. If you wanted to take time, I'm sure you could take like a strawberry huller or one of those tomato huller machine, hand things, but I'm not going to take that much time. Speaking of time, I've had people to say, well, why on earth would you can XYZ? Why would you can this? Why would you can that? I can get it at the store. You know what, can you? Can you really? Because, you know, if you think that in the year 2022, then I might suggest that maybe you're not watching the same news sources I am, because I don't watch the main ones. All right, so I just want to cut down the middle. In the middle of that core, there's a circle in the middle, if you're unfamiliar. And just kind of half the pineapple as best you can. And then you'll see that core in the middle, and that is woody. You don't want to eat that. And then try to cut it again in the middle. And now you have, I was kind of off center there. So now you have that core that you can just cut out, and you'll do that 4 times. I kind of got a little off center. Yeah, okay, turn it upside down. I don't want to waste any more than I have to. There we go. Okay, and this is how you will cut all the pineapples and prepare them for canning. The core is out. Now, depends on what size you want. That's up to you. So I'm going to do not really big chunks, more of the tidbit size, because I'm using narrow mouth jars. Now, it's ideal, I think, to use wide mouth jars on this or potatoes or really anything. They're just easier. But I have a lot of narrow mouth jars, so I thought I could make this happen. So see, they're pieces. There's the palm of my hand, and you see the piece sizes. It just tastes better when you can your own, and you have that satisfaction. So I hope this helps you. Thank you for staying to the end of my video about canning pineapple. Now, I do want to give you some tips about buying canned pineapple. There are just a couple of things I want to share, and it's about the quality that you're going to get. Now, I do not typically I don't keep on hand crushed pineapple, because same reason for crushed tomatoes. So pineapple and tomatoes is the same situation. I know there are recipes that call for it, and that's fine if you want to get it, but if you're talking about stocking your pantry, I do not stock with cases of crushed pineapple or home crushed pineapple, and here's why. It is best as a general rule to avoid crushed pineapple or crushed tomatoes, because what they do in both cases, both situations, typically, you don't know exactly when, so you don't know when to trust the company on this, so don't take chances. But they take the leftover pieces and parts, or the undesirables, maybe not leftover pieces and parts as much as undesirable fruit. So if it's not the perfect pineapple that they can peel and core and slice and canned as sliced, if it's bruised and kind of undesirable, or part of it is, they're going to use that in the crushed pineapple department. So you're not getting such a high quality product if you're buying crushed pineapple. The same with crushed tomatoes, actually. Another thing when you're buying pineapple is, first of all, those tidbits are expensive. So don't buy those tidbits just because you want smaller pieces of pineapple, for heaven's sakes. You can buy the pineapple rings, and I think I've done this in a couple of videos in the past, but you have your can of pineapple rings, and it's already cored, of course, and you take a knife and just go down there in the can and just slice around, and you have what ends up being pineapple tidbits, because the slices are not real thick, and so you're going to make the cuts and you're going to have tidbits. So you're going to have a higher quality product that way as well. So just remembering that if you buy the pineapple rings, you're getting a higher quality product than if you buy the crushed, and if you buy the rings, you're probably getting a little bit less expensive product than if you buy those specialty tidbits.